In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an Azure web app and deploy a web application from Visual Studio to the newly created web app in Azure. Before proceeding to the lab, make sure you have Visual Studio installed, and you have to install um, Azure Development Tools, basically this one, and ASP.NET Web Development, both these options. And you can get it by launching the Visual Studio installer. Make sure both of that installed. So now let me explain what a web app is. So to understand what web app is, we should understand how it was before web app. Let's take an example. Say we want to deploy a web application to a virtual machine in the cloud. So the steps we have to do is, first we have to set up a virtual machine on our own. We basically have to select all the configuration options, and we have to spin up a virtual machine. Then we have to install the web server, that can be IIS or any other web server. Then we have to install the security patches. Then we have to install all the frameworks. For example, if we are running a .NET application, then we have to install a .NET framework. Then we are responsible for the whole maintenance of virtual machines. So we are responsible for everything. It was not that very easy. So that was before web application. Before web app. That's how it was. Then now we comes to a web app. Web app is it's a platform as service. It means we are not responsible for all these setups. We don't have to spin up a virtual machine. We don't have to install web server. Even we are not responsible for security patches. We are not responsible for installing the frameworks which is necessary to run the application. We are not responsible for all those things, but instead of that, we'll create a web app. As I told, web app is a platform as a service. Then we'll simply deploy the application to the web app, and remaining everything will be taken care by Azure. So that's what web app is. Basically, as I told, web app, again, it's a platform as service. So now let us see how we can create a web app and how we can deploy a web application from Visual Studio to the web app which we have created. So now let's jump straight into the lab and see everything together there. I have logged in to the Azure portal. Let us search for web app and select web app. Here let me create a new resource group, as I don't have one. Let me give it AC demo. As a side note, you can create a web app through PowerShell as well, or through the CLI from here with the PowerShell commands, but I'm creating through the IDE now. And a name for the web app, that should be globally unique, because you can see that is Azure website.net. So let me give code with Vijay. Hopefully that will be available. Yes, that is available. And runtime stack, I'm going to run a .NET Core 3.1 application. So the runtime stack is .NET 3.1, and I'm going to run it in a Windows machine. So I have selected Windows, and let me select the region to West Europe. That is the nearest location for me, and a plan and a SKU size. Basically, we need an app service plan to create this web app. So when you go to the app service, let it load. Okay, here you can see different pricing tiers. Okay, it starts from free to isolated. I'm not going to going much into this, but you can see here if it is free, you can host up to 10 applications, and the disk space is 1 GB. About for share, that's again 1 GB, but you can use you can host 100 applications, web, mobile, or API apps. But then basic, it's unlimited, and so on. I'm not going to go much details into app service plan, but yeah, the conclusion is we need an app service for that. And if we don't have an app service, then it will create one for us. Okay, so I'm going to leave it as such. Okay, and let me go further on monitoring. And if you want, you can enable app insight, so later you can query for the logs, the entire application logs. For now, I'm going to disable it, because the purpose of this video is to show how we can publish an ASP.NET app to Azure Web App. I'm going to leave the tags empty, and let me click review and create, and here you can see everything which we have selected. And when I click on create, it will create a web app. It takes some time, so I'm going to pause the video until it has been completed. Now the web app has been created successfully. Let us go to resource and see. Okay, and everything's ready, and we can see the URL here. When we click on the URL, we can see a sample page. So now we are going to deploy our own app to this web app which we have created, so that we'll be able to see the page, basically our home page. Okay, so that's the next step. Let us go to Visual Studio and create a sample ASP.NET application, and let me show how we can publish that application to the newly created web app. So let me create a sample ASP.NET Core web application, and we'll give the name AC demo, and click on create, and that's web application ASP.NET Core 3.1, and click on create. Okay, now it has been loaded. Let us run it once, but before that, let me change the index.cs HTML to something simple which we can identify. So let me give a text. This is a demo for Azure Web App. Okay, let that be the text, and let us run it once to see is everything fine. Okay, it is hosting the application. Okay, it has been hosted, and we can see the text we have modified. Now let us deploy this application to Azure. Let me stop this. Go to Solution Explorer, right click on this project and click on Publish. And we need to select the existing app service and click on Create Profile, and make sure you log in with your Azure account. I've created web app in this account. Okay, there you can see the resource group which we have created, and you can see even the web app there. Select that one, click on OK, and click on Publish. Now it is publishing the application to the web app which we have created. It takes some time, so let me pause the video until it has been published. Now it has been published. We can see publish one succeeded. Let us go back to the Azure portal and let us load this. Now we should be able to see the application which we have created has been deployed, and when we click on that URL, that should load. You can see that has been deployed now, and this is the text which we have given the application. So that's pretty much, and it's we can see it's pretty simple how we can create a web app and publish an application from your local machine to the newly created web app. It's as simple as that. Thank you.